Hey, today we're going to learn about the fiery furnace. King Nebuchadnezzar made a statue that was covered with gold. It was 90 feet tall and 9 feet wide. He set it up on the flatlands of Dura near the city of Babylon. Then the king sent for the royal rulers, high officials, and governors. He sent for the advisors, treasurers, judges, and court officers. And he sent for all of the other officials. He asked them to come to a special gathering to honor the statue he had built. So the royal rulers and everyone else did just that. All of the other officials joined them. They came to honor the statue that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. They stood in front of it. Then a messenger called out loudly, "Listen, you people who come from every nation. Pay attention, you who speak other languages. Here is what the king commands you to do. You will soon hear the sound of horns and flutes. You will hear lyres and harps and pipes. In fact, you will hear all kinds of music. When you do, you must fall down and worship the gold statue that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. If you don't, you will be thrown into a blazing furnace right away." The king made a 90-foot statue. He ordered all of the people to bow down and worship the statue when they heard the music. If they didn't bow down to the statue, they would die in the blazing furnace. All of the people heard the sound of the horns and the flutes. They heard the lyres and the harps and other musical instruments. And as soon as they did, they fell down and worshipped the statue. They had come from every nation and language. At that time, some people who studied the heavens came forward. They spoke against the Jews. They said, "King Nebuchadnezzar, may you live forever. You commanded everyone to fall down and worship the golden statue. You told them to do it when they heard the horns, flutes, lyres and harps, and every other musical instrument. And if they didn't, that they would be thrown into a blazing furnace. But you have appointed some Jews to help Daniel govern Babylon and the towns around it. Their names are Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They don't pay any attention to you, King Nebuchadnezzar. They don't serve your gods, and they refuse to worship this golden statue that you have set up." All of the people bowed down to the statue when they heard the music, all of them except for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They didn't bow. Nebuchadnezzar raged with anger. He sent for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, so they were brought to him. The king said to them, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, is what I heard about you true? Don't you serve my gods? Don't you worship the gold statue I set up? You will hear the music. When you do, fall down and worship the statue I made. If you will, that's very good. But if you won't, you will be thrown at once into a blazing furnace. And then what God will be able to save you from my powerful hand?" Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to the king. They said, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we don't need to talk about this anymore. We might be thrown into the blazing furnace, but the God we serve is able to bring us out of it alive. He will save us from your powerful hand. But we want you to know this. Even if we knew that our God wouldn't save us, we still wouldn't serve your gods. We wouldn't worship the gold statue you set up." Then Nebuchadnezzar's anger burned against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The look on his face changed, and he ordered that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than normal. He also gave some of the strongest soldiers in his army a command. He ordered them to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and then he told his men to throw them into the furnace. So they were tied up, and then they were thrown in. They were wearing their robes, pants, turbans, and other clothes. The king was so angry that these 3 didn't obey his commands to bow down to the golden statue, and so they were brought to him and thrown right into the fire. They told him that they were not going to bow down because they served the one true God. After the king tied them up and got them ready, he threw them into the furnace. The king's command was carried out quickly. The furnace was so hot that its flames killed the soldiers who threw the boys in. So the 3 men were firmly tied up, and they fell into the blazing furnace. Then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet. He was so amazed he asked his advisors, "Didn't we only tie up 3 men? Didn't we throw 3 men into the fire?" "Yes, we did," they replied. The king said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire. They aren't tied up, and the fire hasn't even harmed them. The 4th man looks like a son of the gods." Then the king approached the opening of the blazing furnace, and he shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, come out. You who serve the Most High God, come here." So they came out of the fire. They were put into the furnace, and everyone expected them to die. The king looked in the furnace and saw the 4 of them and realized that they were alive. They weren't harmed at all in the fire. They were walking around alive in a fiery furnace. The men walked out of the furnace at the bidding of the king. The royal rulers, high officials, governors, and advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire hadn't harmed them at all. Not one hair on their heads was burned. Their robes weren't burned either, and they didn't even smell like smoke. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "May the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be praised. He has sent his angel and saved his servants. They trusted in him. They refused to obey my command. They were willing to give up their lives. They would rather die than serve or worship any god except their own God. No other god can save people that way, so I'm giving an order. No one from any nation or language can say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. If they do, they'll be cut to pieces, and their houses will be turned into piles of trash." Then the king honored Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He gave them higher positions in the city of Babylon and the towns around it. This is one incredible story of people who were known for their faith. We all should have this kind of faith in God, because even if he doesn't, everyone praise God because he saved them. I hope that you've enjoyed this study of people and places of the Bible. We're going to take a break over the summer, and I'll look forward to seeing you back for some fun, exciting times in September. We'll see you soon.